This chapter will talk about society and the interactions between human beings. The objective will be to define social interactions and to apply the three theories to human interactions and to explain how individuals present themselves. Society, then, is a group of people that are living together and share the same culture. Culture is a way of being, a way of living that is shared among human beings. During the 19th century, social scientists emerged to study the relationship between individuals and society. And they basically wanted to study society because during that time there was a lot of poverty, and they were trying to find the reasons why. Functionalists say that society is actually more important than individuals, and so society is greater than the sum of its parts. Functionalists tend to see that collective behavior tends to then be different than individual behavior because of pressures. So individuals may have certain values and belief systems, but when they come to the collective, their behavior might change because that's the influence of the collective. Conflict theorists then say that societies are inherently unequal, and conflict tends to exist between those who own basically the means of production and then the workers. And so you have this type of interaction between those who have and those who have not. Now, with conflict theory, it doesn't mean that conflict is a bad thing. It actually can be something positive. It can mean that people are not complacent and they're willing to change their environment to make it better. So change tends to occur when those that are exploited demand change. Symbolic interaction then says that we all have points of view, and by the time you reach a college setting, you have very set points of view and you have an idea of what is reality. And so individuals come with points of view, and that point of view is very important because it is based on how those individuals will relate to their society. And so we come to the idea of what is real, what is reality. The Thomas theorem says that we all come with constructions of reality, and that construction can have consequences, positive and negative. So, in this example, I'm talking about teacher bias. If I am a teacher and an elementary teacher, and I believe that all students are capable of learning, that positive bias can have a positive impact on students. But if I am a person that believes that no, little girls are bad at math, or little girls can't are really not good enough to go to a university, that bias can have consequences. And so when we talk about people's realities, we all come with different types of realities, and those are the example of the realities that we're going to be talking about this semester. Those realities have consequences in how we see the world and how we interact with each other. And so when we're talking about the construction of reality, an element is where we are in the social economic status. So for example, our interactions are shaped by where we happen to be born. If I am working status, I may have a different perception of the world than if I were a billionaire. So I have two images here. One image is basically has a lot of writing or a lot of images in it looks like a huge building, a huge warehouse. For some people, some might say, well, this is a sign of beauty. Some people can see the beauty even here, but others might say, well, this looks like a violent place. This is a sign of life where that's not very safe. However, in the other image that's located on the right, Here, we may have people that have a perception of life that is completely different from those who may be living in the settings on the left. So, for a person who's living in a building like the one on the right, that is this, it's huge, it's a huge mansion, they may see the world completely different. And so, ethnomethodology in sociology is one of the ways that we study reality. So ethnomethodology is when scientists or sociologists, they break the everyday rules that people have to follow, and then they observe the reactions. And usually it's the breaking of rules that are the small ones. You could do this for yourself if you want to be a social researcher by breaking one of the small rules in society. Next time you walk into a building, instead of facing forward, maybe you might face backwards, walk backwards and open the door backwards and see how people react. That's how we know how many rules there are in a society and in any given day and any given circumstance. And so we come to what's called role performance. Some sociologists believe that we always present ourselves according to the different roles that we have. So if I have the role of a respectable mother, I will act in ways that will show that I am respectable, that I am a good mother. If I am playing the role of a clown in the classroom, I may behave differently because the behavior for that role says I'm supposed to be happy, I'm supposed to be clownish. And so we're constantly presenting ourselves as if we were actors in a theater play. So, for example, and the play is life. So, for example, I may act differently when I'm with my parents. I may act differently when I'm in a blind date or when I'm talking to my supervisor. And so we all tend to be performers and we act according to the performance that we are currently playing. And so role performance includes certain elements. One is the intentional action or behavior associated with a role. So if my role is to act as an irresponsible child, I may act irresponsibly in front of my parents. I might decide I'm going to dress a certain way. And so when I am with a blind date, I might decide, well, no, here I'm going to be a responsible individual and I'm going to put my best foot forward. Or maybe I'm in a job interview. And so I intentionally act different when I am in a different role. And so one is that intentional action, and so that has to do with nonverbal communication. What we say is very important in how we say it, but other forms of communication is everything else that is nonverbal, from the clothes that we decide to wear, to the postures that we take, to how we decide to have our hair, to all the props that we use, from our computers to our dress code. All of that is based on that performance. And so the looking glass self basically says that we tend to impact each other because we react to people's behavior. So other people are like a mirror to us. So we base our image on what other people are telling us that they see. And when I'm acting a certain way and the people are responding in ways that are not how I want it, I might change my behavior so that I can elicit the response from people. So we imagine how we appear to others and we react to this belief system.